Hey everybody, welcome back to Vegas Weekly for Saturday, September the 18th, 2021. We got another big show for you here today. Keeping it to 15 minutes, that's our rule. We're going to talk about a breaking news story today and a little bit of background, a little bit of history on that story. And we're going to start a little weekly segment here that I'm calling the Strip Walk. I'm going to sort of virtually talk about the different hotels and properties and other businesses that one encounters as you wander up and down the Las Vegas Strip. And we'll start that today. It just kind of depends on the time frame. Look, I got Pennies for Vegas over my shoulder right over there. Can't really see him very well, but he's sticking up over there. So anyway, did want to again thank everybody for who showed up on Wednesday night for a live stream, which is still a little over an hour. I think we normally had about 35 people in the house, so it was very kind of those of you who showed up. Got a little bit of inside information about some of the mayhem that took place in Vegas. And as always, had a good time with that. That's probably going to become a sort of a monthly feature, is the Wednesday night live stream. So look for that again sometime in early October. As you see, we didn't have one of those bumpers yet today. I did get an idea from one of our group moderators on Facebook that I thought might be kind of fun. We've kind of done away, at least temporarily, with the cocktail segment, both here and on the Wednesday show. It may come back. Certainly, if people are interested in doing a cocktail of the week or cocktail corner or something, certainly feel free to hit me up. But friend Kevin had an idea that we haven't really been doing one of those sorts of like, comment, subscribe sorts of messages at the end of the program either. So hey, if any of you are interested in putting together like a little 30-second spot for the show, obviously if you've got a channel, we'll be happy to promote it if you do that. That would say, hey, watch Vegas Tips and Tricks or something, or like, comment, subscribe, whatever. So interested in doing that, let me know. I'll put the email, my regular sort of email address at the bottom of the screen right up here, jarswift@vegastipstricks.com. If you're interested in doing that, that could be kind of fun. A very easy way to sort of contribute to the show without any, of course you could make it as exciting and spectacular as you like, but it could just be you saying, hey, watch Vegas Tips and Tricks. There you go. Okay, so the big news story of the week, breaking news, it's still smoldering. This morning about 4:45 a.m. Local time, there's a 911 call to the fire emergency folks on Mount Charleston. The lodge on Mount Charleston was aflame. It is a complete loss. Those of you not familiar, Mount Charleston, the tallest mountain in Clark County, just off to the northwest of the city. And the lodge there at Mount Charleston is kind of a local tradition. It's been around a long time. Historically speaking, it was first built back in 1948, so that's been a little while. It actually suffered a fire in 1961 and was burned to the ground, but it was rebuilt, and it has not suffered a fire again until today, so nearly 60 some years later. Ironically, after the previous fire, they actually created a Mount Charleston Fire Department, and those folks were the first people on the scene today, but things had already gotten well out of hand. The Las Vegas Fire Department chipped in, and they were the ones who were able to contain that fire and ultimately put it out. Yeah, the lodge has been around for a long time. Was owned at one time by the same people who owned the Hacienda Hotel. If you're not familiar with that, it was basically located where Mandalay Bay is today, but at that time there wasn't really anything that far to the south, so it was definitely a kind of a hacienda, I guess, of sorts on the very, very south end of the Strip. It has passed through a number of hands since then. Most recently in 2018, the property was purchased by the Ellis family, who, not surprisingly, own the Ellis Island Hotel and Casino, as well as the Village Pub brand, which, in addition to the location at Ellis Island, has a number of other locations throughout the Las Vegas area. Christina Ellis, who I had the privilege of meeting a couple of weeks ago. She was very helpful with our sort of Mark Timber events. Has been quoted today as saying that they will rebuild the lodge. But yeah, so it's kind of one of those kind of one of those local sorts of places. I know a lot of the local vloggers have gone live from there or vlogged about Mount Charleston and the lodge up there. I think that there are a few folks outside the community. I know Matt Bridger went there a few years ago, and Vegas Best Ideas I know has been up there probably a couple of times. We almost consider them locals. I don't even know if that counts, but yeah, and it is one of those places when you start thinking about it, sort of in the neighborhood of Las Vegas, where you're like, oh man, I should check that place out someday. Maybe next time. Well, unfortunately, there isn't going to be a next time. So I guess it's a lesson to the next time you're in Vegas, if there's something that you've always been wanting to check out, do it, because there's nothing guaranteed. You never know when you're going to make it back. We've got some folks that haven't been back to Vegas in 2 years or more with the COVID thing, and obviously there's no guarantees that you're coming back. There's no guarantees that the place you're going to go to is still going to be there. So, we kind of hit up the steakhouse this past trip. That was one of those kind of bucket list places, but now, we may go to the lodge someday, but it won't be the same lodge that had been there for 60 years and much beloved by again, a lot of the locals. There's a lot of hiking trails, outdoor activities. I think there's even like cross-country skiing up on Mount Charleston in the wintertime. So you get a lot of folks that are engaging in those recreational activities that stop for a meal or a drink. And the other thing about Mount Charleston is in the middle of summertime, it's 20, 30 degrees cooler than in the valley below. And when the temperatures are 110 degrees on the strip, being able to cool down 20, 25, 30 degrees is a very nice change of pace. So again, a good place to get away from the heat of the summer, a good place to get away from Vegas. And still, there's still a lot to do up there. The cabins that surrounded the lodge were not damaged in the fire. And then there is a larger hotel property down the road, but that's at a pretty good distance. Again, they didn't suffer any damage. Right now, a lot of the area on Mount Charleston is inaccessible. They're still trying to make sure that all the fires are out and everything. So if you just happen to be in the area, I don't think this is probably a good time to go check things out. But yeah, pretty much a complete loss there. And that's obviously unfortunate, but thought we'd bring you the news of that story. And well, there you go. Okay, so what I thought we would do going forward on the program, just because I make this stuff up on the fly, what I feel like doing, is doing a segment on a weekly basis that I'm going to call the Strip Walk. And we're going to start way down on the south end of the Strip by Mandalay Bay, etc. And we're going to slowly work our way to the north. And we'll actually stay on one side of the street and kind of give you an indication of the obstacles, how difficult it is to navigate through the area, what sort of things you're going to see in addition to the hotels and casinos. There are other, shops and restaurants and stuff along the way. And also just kind of give you my impression of all of that. So let's get started with that. It looks like we're at about the 9-minute mark, so we'll do about 5 minutes or so of that today. I said we would start at Mandalay Bay, but we could very well start down at the Las Vegas sign, which if you ever decide to just hike it down there, it's a pretty good little hike, okay? Certainly if it's warm outside, you probably don't want to do it, but if you're staying at Mandalay Bay or down on that end of the strip and you don't mind a little walk, you can definitely check it out. There's not a whole lot else around there. There's like a pretty large sort of Harley Davidson shop that's kind of right across the way there. And they're supposed to be building a hotel down there, but I don't know that they've even started on that yet. But yeah, so if you started at the Las Vegas sign and you started to the north, heading towards Mandalay Bay and Delano, you would also walk by the sort of Mandalay Bay sort of event center area. I know when I walked down there a few years ago, there was a major sort of car show going on. And Mandalay Bay definitely has one of the larger convention facilities in Las Vegas. If you ever wander way down into the bowels of Mandalay Bay, you'll begin to encounter some of that, but it's a massive convention property. And then, of course, you'll come upon Mandalay Bay and Delano. Both are pretty easily accessible from the street. You know, there's a little sort of winding path of grassery and greenery that you can follow in. I generally am, I would say, am a partisan of Mandalay Bay, both the hotel proper and the casino. And for me, I like the casino because it's very spread out. It never feels that crowded, even when there's a lot of people there. It never feels very smoky. There are a number of, decent restaurants there, obviously some very nice restaurants. The purpose of this isn't to really go in and talk about every single restaurant in the property, but yeah, it still to me feels very sort of classy, kind of upscale, even after being there for over 20 years now. It feels like they've really done a good job maintaining that property. Of course, obviously, you have the massive pool complex and everything else there as well. Once you're inside Mandalay, if you're down by the sports book, it's a pretty easy jog over to Delano. Again, one of my favorite properties and one of the best value properties in Las Vegas. Once you're inside Mandalay Bay, you might as well stay inside, and you can walk through the Mandalay Place shops to reach Luxor. Now, to be honest, it's really not a very good mall. There are a few restaurants in there, including an Irish pub that gets generally high marks called Ree-Raw, that's very close to the Mandalay side of that mall. But it's a comfortable air-conditioned walk, and perhaps you'll see some shops or something along the way that will have something you might want to purchase. But generally speaking, it's just a good way to get from Mandalay Bay to Luxor. And Luxor is a property that over the past several years I've come to be more and more impressed with. Not, I think, because it's become any more impressive. They have done some remodels. They've done some reboots of different areas in the casino and so forth. But for whatever reason, I never really was that comfortable in Luxor before. But over the last 3-4 years, I've gotten to the point where I kind of enjoy playing there. So it is, for a themed property, and yes, you can still find plenty of elements of that Egyptian theme, whether it be, even inside the property, particularly if you go up to like the second floor and you can check out the sort of inner atrium, the pyramid, as well as a lot of, just sort of the design elements of it as you head down from the second floor where a number of the shows are, down to the lobby area and down to the casino. So yeah, but it's a generic casino. It really is. Again, there's elements of it that are themed, but most of those have come out. But I think it's generally a clean, comfortable place to play, and has most all the games you want. So for me, it's a good spot. Is it worth staying in the pyramid? I've not stayed in the pyramid. I have been in a pyramid room, but it's been a number of years ago. It was already starting to show its age, but a number of those rooms have been remodeled. So, my recommendation probably is to stay at the tower. But if you must stay in a pyramid, this may be about the only place you're going to find in the U.S. where you can stay in a pyramid. There you go. All right. From Luxor, the next step is obviously going to be making our way down to Excalibur. We can also do that via an interior walkway. We are going to wait and talk about that a little more next week. You can find out what I think of Excalibur. I haven't generally had such a high opinion of it, but has that changed in the past couple of years as my affection for the South Strip has grown? I'll have to tune in to find out. Now, this is the point in the broadcast where if you decide to send in a clip promoting our show and promoting our channel and asking folks to like, comment, and subscribe, we would throw it in somewhere right here. I guess I'll say that today. Some of you probably have joined the channel just as a result of some of the vlogging that we did from Vegas a couple of weeks ago. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Please like the video. If you have any feedback, we'd like to hear it. We will be back this week with a Wednesday show, 10 minutes in length. We'll be back next Saturday with another episode of Vegas Weekly. And until then, I hope that you have a great, lucky, and healthy week. We will see y'all real soon. Bye-bye.